The explosion threw Tae-sung against the concrete wall. His ears rang. Smoke filled his lungs. He coughed and pushed himself up, checking his medical bag. Still intact. Good. Around him, the colony was falling apart. Buildings burned. People screamed. The Veltrons had come without warning, dropping from the sky like angry gods. Now humans and aliens shot at each other across the ruined streets of Arcturus 7. Tae-sung was a medic, not a fighter. He carried a rifle because everyone did, but he had never fired it at another living thing. His job was to save lives. For 12 years, humanity had fought the Velthron Empire. For 3 of those years, Tae-sung had patched up the broken bodies the war created. He was tired. So very tired. "Medic! We need a medic!" someone shouted. Tae-sung ran toward the voice. A young soldier lay on the ground, bleeding from his leg. Tae-sung dropped beside him and went to work. His hands moved automatically now. Tourniquet, pressure, injection. The soldier would live. "Get to the evacuation point," Tae-sung told him. "Can you walk?" The soldier nodded and limped away. Another explosion rocked the street. Tae-sung ducked behind a broken transport vehicle. He needed to move. The evacuation zones were 3 blocks east. If he could just... He heard it then. A small sound, almost like a bird, but wrong. He looked around. Nothing. There it was again, coming from the wreckage of a civilian transport that had crashed into a building. Tae-sung knew he should keep moving. Command had ordered all personnel to fall back. But that sound, it was crying. A child crying. He ran to the wreckage. The transport was Velthran design, enemy. He should walk away. Every instinct told him to walk away, but his feet carried him forward anyway. "Hello?" he called out. The crying stopped, then started again, more desperate. Tae-sung climbed into the twisted metal. Sharp edges cut his uniform. He squeezed through a gap and found her there. A Velthran child, small and delicate. She looked almost human, but her skin had a slight blue tint, and her eyes were larger. Purple blood covered her chest. A metal beam pinned her legs. She looked at him with pure terror. "It's okay," Tae-sung said softly. He knew she couldn't understand his words, but maybe his tone would help. "I'm going to help you." The girl whimpered. She tried to pull away from him. Tae-sung slowly opened his medical bag. He moved carefully, showing her each item before using it. First, he scanned her injuries with his medical device. Bad, very bad. Internal bleeding, crushed bones. Without treatment, she would die in minutes. His radio crackled. "All units fall back. Airstrike incoming in 10 minutes. Repeat, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Not enough time to get her out and reach safety. Not nearly enough. Tae-sung looked at the little girl. She had stopped crying. Her eyes were losing focus. She was dying right in front of him. He made his choice. His hands moved quickly. He injected her with painkillers and stabilizers. Human medicine, but the Veltrans were similar enough. It would have to work. He cut away the fabric around her wounds and applied pressure bandages. Then he examined the beam. Too heavy to lift alone, but if he used his weight as leverage... Gunfire erupted outside. Close. Too close. Tae-sung ignored it. He wedged himself under the beam and pushed with everything he had. The metal groaned, moved. Just enough. He pulled the girl free. She cried out in pain. He whispered apologies and lifted her into his arms. She was lighter than a human child. So fragile. 5 minutes to airstrike. Tae-sung climbed out of the wreckage. The street was chaos. Velthran soldiers advanced from the north. Human forces retreated to the south. He was caught in the middle, holding an enemy child. A Velthran soldier saw him, raised his weapon. Tae-sung froze. The soldier stared at the child in Tae-sung's arms, lowered his weapon slowly, spoke something in his harsh language. Let Tae-sung pass. Tae-sung ran. The girl's blood soaked into his uniform. She was so quiet now. too quiet. He couldn't let her die. He wouldn't. A human patrol appeared ahead. They saw him, saw what he carried. "Stop!" their leader commanded. "Put down the alien!" "She's a child," Tae-sung shouted back. "She's dying!" "That's an order, Corporal!" Tae-sung kept running. Bullets hit the ground near his feet. Warning shots. They wouldn't kill him. Would they? He dove behind a wall as the airstrike sirens began. The bombers were coming. Everyone scattered for cover. In the confusion, Tae-sung slipped away. He found an abandoned medical bunker and sealed the door. Set the girl on a table. Her breathing was shallow. He had maybe minutes, maybe less. Tae-sung had never operated on a Veltron before. Their anatomy was different. Similar but different. He studied his scanner's readout and prayed. Then he began, his hands cut and stitched. Stopped bleeding, repaired what could be repaired. The girl's body fought him every step. Her alien blood wouldn't clot right with human medicine. Her tissues rejected the synthetic patches. But Tae-sung adapted, improvised, refused to give up. Outside, the world exploded. The airstrike had arrived. The bunker shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Tae-sung covered the girl's body with his own as the bombs fell, protected her with himself. When the strike ended, silence fell. Tae-sung checked the girl's vital signs. Weak, but stable. She would live. Against all odds, she would live. He slumped against the wall, exhausted. What had he done? He had disobeyed direct orders, left his unit, saved an enemy. The military would court-martial him, maybe execute him. The girl's hand moved, reached for him. He took it gently. Her large eyes opened and looked at him. For the first time, there was no fear in them, just confusion and something else. Trust, maybe. Tae-sung smiled tiredly. "You're safe now," he told her. She didn't understand his words, but she held his hand and didn't let go. Hours later, when the human recovery teams found them, Tae-sung was arrested immediately. The girl was taken to a military medical facility. As soldiers put restraints on his wrists, Tae-sung watched them carry her away on a stretcher. He didn't resist, didn't fight. He had known this would happen. But when he looked at that small hand reaching back toward him, he knew something else too. He knew he would make the same choice again, every single time. Some things mattered more than orders, more than wars, more than choosing sides. Sometimes a life was just a life. And every life was worth saving, even if it cost him everything. They kept Tae-sung in a detention cell for 3 days. No trial, no hearing, just questions. The same questions, over and over. Why did you save the alien? Why did you disobey orders? Are you a traitor? Are you working with them? Tae-sung gave the same answer every time. She was a child. She was dying. I'm a medic. His commanding officer didn't understand. She's not human, Corporal. She's the enemy. She's 6 years old, Tae-sung said quietly. On the 4th day, everything changed. A Veltron ship entered the system. One ship, but massive. A warship that could destroy the entire colony. Every defense system went on high alert, but the ship didn't attack. It sent a message instead. They wanted to talk. They wanted their child back. More specifically, Supreme Commander Yoon Ha-ri wanted her daughter back. Tae-sung sat in his cell and felt his stomach drop. He had saved the daughter of one of the most powerful Velthrans in the Empire, a military leader who had destroyed human colonies, who had killed thousands. He had saved her child. He wasn't sure if that made things better or worse. They brought him to the meeting under armed guard. The conference room was filled with military brass, generals, admirals, people with more medals than Tae-sung could count. They all looked nervous. At the center of the room, on the main view screen, stood Ha-ri. She was tall, even for a Veltron. Her armor was dark red, almost black. Her face was beautiful and terrible at the same time. Sharp features, cold eyes. She looked like she could kill everyone in the room without breaking a sweat. She probably could. Where is my daughter? Her voice came through the translator device, but even filtered through technology, it carried power. She's safe, the human admiral said carefully. She's recovering in our medical facility. I want her returned, now. That can be arranged. The admiral folded his hands. However, there are matters we need to discuss first. The ceasefire, terms of, I want to see the human who saved her life. Silence fell over the room. Every eye turned to Tae-sung. The admiral cleared his throat. He's currently facing court-martial for... I want to see him. Now. It wasn't a request. The guards pushed Tae-sung forward. He stood before the screen, looking up at Hari. She studied him with those cold eyes. He felt like an insect under examination. You are the one? She asked. Yes. Ma'am? His voice came out steadier than he felt. Why? Such a simple question. Such a complicated answer. She needed help, Tae-sung said. I'm a medic. It's what I do. She is Veltran. You are human. We are at war. She's a child first. Before anything else, she's a child. Hari stared at him for a long moment. Something shifted in her expression. Not softness exactly, but recognition maybe. You know who I am? She asked. Yes. You know what I have done to your people? Yes. And yet you saved my daughter? Yes. Hari leaned forward slightly. My daughter's name is Shiwan. When the medical reports reached me, she told my people about you. She called you Sajin. It means savior in our language. Do you know what that means in our culture? Tae-sung shook his head. It means you are bound to her. And she to you. More importantly, it means I am bound to you. Hari's voice carried across the room like thunder. You have invoked the debt of breath. Ancient law, sacred law. You saved the life of my child. Until that debt is repaid, you belong to my family. The human admiral stepped forward. Now wait There is no waiting. There is no negotiation. This is law older than your entire species. Hari's eyes never left Tae-sung. The human called Tae-sung will come with me when I retrieve my daughter. He will serve in my household until I deem the debt satisfied. This is not a request. Absolutely not, the admiral said firmly. He's a human soldier under our jurisdiction. He is also facing your court-martial, is he not? For the crime of saving my daughter? Hari smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. I offer a solution. Release him to me, or I will consider his imprisonment an act of war. My fleet is 3 jumps away. We can be here in 6 hours. The room erupted in angry voices. Threats, counter-threats. Tae-sung stood in the middle of it all, numb. He was being treated like a prisoner of war. His whole life, decided by people who didn't know him. When the chaos finally died down, the admiral turned to him. Corporal Kang, this is irregular. But given the circumstances, we're prepared to offer you a choice. A choice? Tae-sung almost laughed. Accept the Veltron's demand. Go with her. Or face court-martial here. Your actions violated direct orders. The penalty could be severe. Some choice, prison or servitude to the enemy. But as Tae-sung thought about it, something occurred to him. He was tired. So tired of the war. Tired of watching people die. If he stayed, they would either lock him up or send him back to the front lines. More death. More suffering. At least with the Veltrons, he might learn something, might understand the enemy, might find a way to end this war. I'll go, he said. The admiral looked relieved. Good. You'll be able to provide intelligence on their operations. We'll want regular reports. No, Tae-sung interrupted. I'm not going as a spy. I'm not going to betray whatever trust this creates. I'll go because it's the right thing to do, but I won't be your agent. Corporal, that's not... Those are my terms. Tae-sung looked the admiral in the eye. You want to get rid of me anyway, so let me go with a clear conscience." The Admiral's face reddened, but after a moment, he nodded. "Fine. Do whatever you want. You're no longer our problem." 2 days later, Tae-sung stood in the docking bay with a small bag of possessions. Shiwan had been transferred that morning, still weak but alive. Now it was his turn. The Veltron shuttle was sleek and dangerous-looking, like everything they made. As he approached, the door opened. A Veltron soldier gestured him inside, not roughly, but not gently either. The interior was dark. The seats were wrong for human proportions. Everything felt alien, foreign. Tae-sung strapped himself in and tried not to think about what he had agreed to. The shuttle launched. Through the viewport, Tae-sung watched the human colony shrink away. His home, his people, everything he had known, all disappearing behind him. The flight to Hari's ship took an hour. When they docked, more soldiers escorted him through corridors of metal and strange lighting. Everything was bigger than it needed to be, designed for Velthrons, who were taller than humans. Finally, they brought him to a large chamber. Hari stood there waiting, and beside her, in a small bed with medical equipment around it, lay Shi-won. The little girl's face lit up when she saw him. She tried to sit up, but Hari gently pushed her back down. Then she said something in Veltron. Shi-won nodded and smiled. Hari turned to Tae-sung. "My daughter wants to thank you. She says you held her hand when she was scared. She says you protected her with your body when the bombs fell. She says you are brave." "I just did what anyone should do," Tae-sung said. "No, you did what no one else would do." Hari stepped closer. She was even more imposing in person. "You are in my household now. You will be treated with respect. But make no mistake, you are not free. You are bound by law and by honor. Try to escape, and you will be hunted. Try to harm my family, and you will die. Do you understand?" "I understand." "Good." Hari studied him again with those calculating eyes. "I do not trust you, human, but I owe you my daughter's life. That debt is everything to my people, so I will honor it, even if I don't understand why you did what you did." Shi-won spoke again. Hari listened, then translated. "She wants to know if you will stay close. She feels safe with you." Tae-sung looked at the little girl. She smiled at him with complete trust. He had saved her life, and in doing so, had bound himself to her family. "I'll stay close," he promised. Hari nodded once. "Then welcome to the Crimson Talon, Corporal Kang Tae-sung. Your new life begins now." The first month aboard the Crimson Talon was the hardest month of Tae-sung's life. Everything was wrong. The gravity felt too heavy. The air tasted strange. The lights hurt his eyes. He couldn't read the signs, couldn't understand the language, couldn't tell if a Veltron was being polite or threatening. Most of the crew ignored him. A few glared with open hatred. One spat at his feet. But no one touched him. Hari had made it clear. He was under her protection. To harm him was to insult her. He lived in a small room near Hari's quarters. Not a cell, but not comfortable either. Hard bed, no windows. A bathroom with fixtures designed for someone taller. He made it work. Shi-won was his only friend. She visited every day, sometimes with her mother, sometimes with a guard. She was recovering well. The cuts had healed. The bones were mending. She taught him Veltran words. He taught her human games. They drew pictures together. She called him Sajin, her savior. It made him uncomfortable, but she refused to use his name. Hari watched these visits carefully. She never spoke much, but her eyes missed nothing. Tae-sung could feel her measuring him, judging him, waiting for him to fail some test he didn't understand. At night, he lay awake and wondered what he had gotten himself into. Then came the plague. It started in the lower decks, a sickness that spread fast. Veltron soldiers collapsed at their posts. 3 died before the medical staff could respond. The ship's doctors tried everything. Nothing worked. Tai Sung heard about it from Shiwan. She was worried. Many are sick, she told him in broken human language. Mother is worried too. That evening, Hari summoned him to the bridge. She looked tired, more tired than he had ever seen her. You are a medic, she said, without preamble. A good one, according to your records? I am. My people are dying. Our doctors cannot stop it. I need your help. The words seemed to pain her. Show me the patients, Tae Sung said. The medical bay was chaos. Sick Velthrons lay in beds, their skin turning darker shades of blue. They gasped for air. Some were unconscious. The doctors worked frantically, but Tae Sung could see they were losing the battle. He examined a patient, checked the symptoms, scanned the blood samples. His mind worked through the puzzle. The disease was similar to something he had seen before. A respiratory virus that human colonies had dealt with 2 years ago. I think I know what this is, he told Hari, and I think I know how to treat it. Her eyes widened. You can save them? Maybe. Human immune systems are different from Velthron, but the basic treatment should work. I need access to your pharmacy, and I need your doctors to trust me. Hari barked orders in Velthron. The doctors looked skeptical, but they obeyed. Tae Sung worked through the night. He modified human treatments for Velthron biology, tested doses on tissue samples. When he was sure, he administered the first injection to the sickest patient. They all waited. 10 minutes, 20, 30. The patient's breathing eased. Color returned to his skin. He opened his eyes. Tae Sung let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. It works. For the next 3 days, Tae Sung barely slept. He treated patient after patient, adjusted dosages, monitored reactions. The Velthron doctors watched him work, at first with suspicion, then with respect, then with something like awe. By the end of it, he had saved 43 lives. The crew's attitude toward him changed. They nodded when he passed. Some even spoke to him. He was no longer just the human, he was the healer. Hari found him in the medical bay on the 4th day. He was cleaning equipment, exhausted. You saved my crew, she said. I did my job. You did more than your job. You saved the people who have called you enemy, who would have killed you without hesitation in battle. She paused. Why? Because they needed help. Tae Sung set down the instrument he was cleaning. And because I don't believe in enemies when it comes to medicine. Only patience. Hari studied him for a long moment. You are strange, Tae Sung. Your people are strange. You show mercy to those who show you none. You save those who would destroy you. It is... I do not understand it. Maybe that's our strength, Tae Sung said quietly. We choose compassion even when it's difficult. Something shifted in Hari's expression. Not a smile, but a thaw. Perhaps. Come. I want to show you something. She led him to a different part of the ship, an observation deck. Through the massive windows, space stretched out endlessly, stars everywhere, beautiful and terrible. I have fought your people for 10 years, Hari said. I have killed many humans, destroyed your colonies. I did it because I believed we were right. That humanity was dangerous, that you would destroy us if we did not destroy you first. She turned to look at him. But you saved my daughter, and now my crew. You are one man, but you make me question everything I thought I knew. Tae Sung didn't know what to say, so he said nothing. Tell me about your family, Hari said suddenly. Do you have one? A sister, Unji. She's a doctor, works at a research station. He smiled sadly. I haven't spoken to her in 2 years. The war makes communication difficult. And your parents? Dead. Killed in a Velthron raid 5 years ago. Hari went very still. I am... sorry. Are you? Your people killed them. I killed someone's family too. Many families. It is the nature of war. Her voice was quiet. but I am still sorry. Death should mean something. Even enemy death. They stood in silence watching the stars. Shiwan had a father, Hari said eventually. He died in battle, against humans. I do not know if it was your forces, but it could have been. We are enemies, you and I, created by this war. And yet here we are, Taesung finished. Yes, here we are. Over the following weeks, something changed between them. Hari began inviting Taesung to dinner, just small meals in her quarters with Shiwan. At first, they barely spoke, but slowly conversation came easier. Hari told him about Velthron culture, their honor codes, their history, why they fought. It was nothing like human propaganda claimed. The Velthrons weren't monsters. They were people, complicated, flawed people. Taesung told her about humanity, about art and music, about the idea that everyone deserved dignity, about how humans believed in second chances. Shiwan blossomed in these moments. She laughed. She was a child again, not a victim of war. One night, after Shiwan had gone to bed, Hari poured Taesung a drink. It was Velthron alcohol, strong and bitter. I have a confession, she said. When you first came aboard, I planned to use you, learn human tactics, extract information, then dispose of you when the debt was satisfied. I know, Taesung said. I expected it. But I have changed my mind. You are valuable, not as an asset, as a person. You have shown my daughter kindness, my crew respect. Even me you treat with dignity, despite what my people have done to yours. What are you saying? I am saying that I do not know if I want the debt to be repaid. When it is, you are free to leave, to return to your people, but... She looked away. I think we would all miss you, especially Shiwan. Just Shiwan? Taesung asked softly. Hari met his eyes. For the first time, he saw uncertainty there. Vulnerability. No, not just Shiwan. The air between them felt charged, dangerous. They were on opposite sides of a war. This couldn't happen. Shouldn't happen. Hari! Do not say it, she interrupted. Do not speak of the impossibility. I know. But for one moment, let us pretend. Let us imagine a world where there is no war, where you and I are simply two people who have found something rare. That world doesn't exist, Taesung said, but he didn't move away. No, it does not. Hari stood. Rest well, Taesung. Tomorrow we reach the edge of Velthron space. You will see my homeworld from orbit. Perhaps it will help you understand us better. She left. Taesung sat alone with his drink and his thoughts. Everything was changing. The enemy was becoming human. The captor was becoming something else, something more dangerous than hatred. He was starting to care about Shiwan, about the crew, about Hari, and he wasn't sure if that made him wise or foolish. But as he looked out at the stars, he realized something. He didn't want to leave, not yet, maybe not ever. The debt wasn't the chain keeping him here anymore. Something else was, something he was afraid to name. The message came at dawn, ship time anyway. In space, dawn meant whatever the clock said. Taesung was in the medical bay organizing supplies when he felt the ship change course, the subtle shift in momentum that meant new orders. He thought nothing of it. Not at first. Hari didn't come to dinner that night. Shiwan was disappointed. She had drawn a picture for her mother, a picture of the three of them together. It made Taesung's heart ache to look at it. Mother is busy, Shiwan said sadly. She is always busy with war things. She'll see it soon, Taesung promised. She'll love it. But Hari didn't come the next night either, or the next. When Taesung asked the guards, they gave him hard looks and said nothing. Something was wrong. On the fourth day, he forced his way onto the bridge. Guards tried to stop him, but he pushed past. I need to speak with Commander Hari. She stood at the command console studying star maps. She looked tired, worn. When she saw him, something flickered in her eyes. Pain, maybe. "You should not be here," she said. "What's happening? Why are you avoiding us? Leave, now!" "No." Taesung stepped closer. "Something's wrong. I can see it. Talk to me." Hari's jaw tightened. For a moment, he thought she would have him thrown off the bridge. Then she waved the other officers away. When they were alone, she finally spoke. "I have received orders from the High Council. A strategic target. We are to destroy it in 3 days. So, you're a military commander. You follow orders. This target is different." She pulled up an image on the screen. A space station, clean, white, with medical symbols on its hull. "It is a research facility, medical research. They develop treatments for diseases, cures for injuries caused by the war." Taesung felt cold. "You can't attack a medical station. That's against every law of war. Velthran law allows it. They say the research gives humanity an advantage, that destroying it will save Velthran lives." Hari's voice was hollow. "I am ordered to carry it out personally. To prove my loyalty, there have been questions about my judgment, about you." The pieces fell into place. "They know about me. About how you've treated me." "Yes. Some in the High Council believe I have grown soft, that saving my daughter has made me weak. This is a test. Destroy the station or be stripped of command. And if I am stripped of command..." She looked away. "They will take Shi-Wan from me, place her with another family. I will never see her again." Taesung understood. A trap. A perfect trap. Do what they demand and prove you're still loyal. Refuse and lose everything. "How many people on the station?" he asked quietly. 3,000. Mostly researchers, some support staff, civilians. 3,000 people. Taesung felt sick. "You can't do this." "I have no choice." "There's always a choice." "Not for me, not in my world." Hari's control shattered. "You don't understand. In Velthran society, duty is everything, honor is everything. If I disobey, I lose Shi-Wan. I lose my position. I become nothing, worse than nothing, a traitor. Better a traitor than a murderer of thousands." She slapped him, hard. The sound echoed in the empty bridge. They stared at each other. Hari's hand trembled. Taesung's cheek burned. "You dare judge me?" she whispered. "You who have never had to make such choices? You saved one child and think you understand the world?" "I understand that some things are wrong, no matter the cost." Hari turned away. "Leave, before I have you locked in your quarters." Taesung left, but he couldn't let this happen. 3,000 people. He had to do something. That night, he broke into Hari's computer systems. It wasn't hard. She had given him access to medical databases. From there, he could reach other systems. He found the target coordinates, looked up the station name. His blood turned to ice. New Hope Medical Research Station, where his sister worked, Yunji. They were going to kill his sister. Taesung's hands shook as he composed a coded message. A warning. He didn't know if it would reach Yunji. The war made communication nearly impossible, but he had to try. Before he could send it, the door opened. Hari stood there. She looked at his screen, at the message, at him. "You were going to betray me," she said flatly. "I was going to save my sister." "Your sister?" "Dr. Kang Yunji. She works on that station. She's the only family I have left." Taesung stood to face her. "So yes, I was going to warn her. I was going to betray you, because I will not let her die." Hari stood frozen. Something crumbled in her expression. "Your sister. I am ordered to kill your sister. Now you understand." She sat down heavily, put her face in her hands. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. "There is no good choice," Hari finally said. "If I attack, I kill your sister. You will never forgive me. Shiwan will never forgive me when she is old enough to understand. But if I refuse, then we find another way, Taesung said. There is no other way. There's always another way. We just have to think. His mind raced. What if the attack succeeded but no one died? Hari looked up. That is impossible. Not impossible. Difficult, but not impossible. Taesung sat beside her. I contact my sister. Convince her to evacuate the station quietly. Make it look like a drill. Get everyone off. Then you attack an empty station. Your orders are fulfilled. No one dies. They would know. The moment your sister evacuates, they would know. Not if we make it look natural. A false alarm. A system malfunction. Something that requires evacuation but doesn't raise suspicion. And if we are caught, if anyone discovers this, then we're both dead, Taesung said simply. But 3,000 people live, including my sister, including your honor, because you will know the truth, that you chose mercy over blind obedience. Hari closed her eyes. This is treason. For both of us. I know. If we fail, I lose Shiwan. You lose your life. Everyone on that station dies anyway. I know. And you still think we should try? Taesung took her hand. She stiffened but didn't pull away. Hari, you said something to me once. You said death should mean something. Those 3,000 people, they're just trying to heal the wounded, to cure the sick. They're not soldiers. Killing them would be meaningless death. And you're better than that. I know you are. A tear ran down Hari's face, the first time he had ever seen her cry. I do not deserve your faith in me. Maybe not. But you have it anyway. She gripped his hand tightly. If we do this, there is no going back. We will both be hunted, by my people and by yours. Then we better make it count. Hari stood, wiped her eyes. The moment of weakness passed. She was a commander again. Send your message. I will prepare my part. We have 3 days. It must be perfect. Over the next 72 hours, they worked in secret. Taesung contacted his sister through encrypted channels. It took 2 tries, but she finally responded. She didn't believe him at first. Why would she? Her brother, supposedly with the enemy, warning her of an attack. But Taesung knew things, personal things, details only he would know. Eventually, Yoonji trusted him. She agreed to the plan. She would trigger an evacuation drill, make it look real, get everyone off the station. She would time it perfectly. Hari prepared her attack, made it visible, made sure the High Council watched. A perfect military strike against a strategic target. The day came. Taesung watched the screens with his heart in his throat. Below, on the station, people evacuated. Yoonji played her part perfectly. A critical reactor malfunction. Everyone off, quickly, calmly, professionally. The station emptied, 3,000 lives reaching safety. Then Hari gave the order. Fire! The Crimson Talon's weapons lit up. Missiles streaked through space. The station exploded in brilliant fire. Complete destruction. Nothing left. On the bridge, the crew cheered. Hari stood stone-faced. Only Taesung saw her hand trembling. They had done it. Saved everyone. Completed the mission. The perfect crime. For 2 days, they thought they had succeeded. Then an officer approached Hari on the bridge. One of the ambitious ones. The ones who wanted her position. Commander, he said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. I have completed my analysis of the attack. There is something you should know. Hari's face betrayed nothing. Report. The station was evacuated before we fired. All personnel were gone. We destroyed an empty facility. He pulled up data. And I have traced the evacuation order. It came from inside the station, but was triggered by an external communication, a coded message from this ship, specifically from the quarters of your human guest. The bridge went silent. The officer's smile widened. I have already reported this to the High Council. They are displeased, both with the human and with you for allowing this to happen under your command. Hari drew her weapon. For one terrible moment, Tae-sung thought she would shoot him, or the officer, or both. Instead, she lowered it. Arrest the human, lock him in the brig. And you, Commander? I will await the Council's judgment. As guards dragged Tae-sung away, he saw Shi-won watching from a corridor, her face confused, scared. He tried to smile at her, tried to show her everything would be okay. But he knew the truth. They had saved 3,000 lives, and now they would pay the price. The brig was cold, dark. Tae-sung sat on the metal floor and waited for whatever came next. Execution, probably. That's what happened to traitors. He didn't regret it. 3,000 people lived because of what they did. That was worth dying for. The door opened. He expected guards. Instead, Hari stepped inside. She wore simple clothes, not her armor. She looked smaller somehow, human almost. They are coming, she said without preamble. A High Council ship. They will be here in 4 hours. They will take me into custody. You will be executed immediately. I understand. No, you do not. Hari moved closer. They will not only take me. They will take Shi-won. Question her. Punish her for my failure. She is 6 years old and they will make her pay for my choices. Tae-sung stood. What are you saying? I am saying we have 4 hours to disappear. There is a small ship in Bay 7, a scout vessel, fast, well-armed. I have a crew, loyal people who owe me their lives. They will come with us. You're planning to run? I am planning to survive, and to protect my daughter. Hari's eyes met his. But I cannot do it alone. I need you. Not because of the debt, not because of law, because I choose to need you. Because somewhere in these months, you became important to me. To us. Tae-sung's heart raced. They'll hunt us. Both sides will hunt us. I know. We will be fugitives, hunted across the galaxy. Our lives will never be easy. She took his hand. But we will be alive. And we will be together. If that is what you want. What about ending the war? We saved those people, but the fighting continues. One battle at a time, Tae-sung. First we survive. Then we change the world. He squeezed her hand. Then let's survive. They moved fast. Hari freed the loyal crew members, 10 Velthrons who had served with her for years. They gathered Shi-won, who was confused but trusting. Tae-sung grabbed his medical supplies. In under an hour, they were aboard the scout ship and launching. Alarms screamed across the Crimson Talon. The ambitious officer tried to stop them. Hari shot him, not to kill, but to disable. She was done with meaningless death. They jumped to hyperspace just as the High Council ship arrived, made it by seconds. For 3 days they ran, jumped from system to system, dodged patrols, used every trick Hari knew. The ship was cramped with 13 people aboard, but no one complained. They were alive. They were free. On the 4th day, they reached Novara Station. It hung in unclaimed space, far from any government's reach, a massive ring of metal and lights, home to thousands of refugees, deserters, smugglers, and dreamers, people who didn't fit in either empire, people who just wanted to live. They docked carefully. Hari sent scouts first, made sure it was safe. Then they disembarked. Tae-sung had never seen anything like it. The station was chaos. Humans and Velthrans walked side by side. Other species, too. Some he didn't recognize. Signs in 20 languages. Music mixing from a dozen cultures. It was messy and loud and beautiful. This place shouldn't exist, Hari said. Both our governments deny it exists. But here it is, proof that coexistence is possible. They found quarters in the refugee section. Small rooms, but clean. Safe. Shi-won explored everything with wide eyes. For the first time in her life, she wasn't afraid of other species. She even made friends with a human child. For 2 weeks they rested, recovered, started to believe they might actually survive. Then Tai-sung met a man in a bar, an old smuggler named Dae-hyun, who dealt in information. After some drinks and some trust, Dae-hyun told him something that changed everything. "You know why the war started?" Dae-hyun asked. "Really started?" "Territory dispute," Tae-sung said. "Resources." "That's what they tell you. But the truth?" Dae-hyun leaned closer. "The truth is it was manufactured. There's a weapons corporation. Huge. Sells to both sides. They profit from the war continuing. And they have people in both governments. High up, making sure peace never happens." Tae-sung felt sick. "You have proof?" "Not me, but I know someone who does. A defector. Used to work for the corporation. She has files, evidence, names, everything." Dae-hyun paused. "She wants to release it, broadcast it across the galaxy. But she needs protection, and she needs someone both sides will believe. Someone with credibility." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I know who you are. Word spreads. The human who saved a Veltron child. The medic who healed both sides. You're famous here. A legend. You and Commander Hari, if she's really with you." Dae-hyun smiled. "You could be the voice that ends the war." Tae-sung found Hari in their quarters, told her everything. She listened silently. "This is bigger than us," she finally said. "If we do this, we put Siwon in danger again. If we don't do it, the war continues. She grows up in a galaxy that's dying, where humans and Veltrons keep killing each other forever." Hari looked at her daughter, sleeping peacefully. "When I was her age, I dreamed of peace. Then I grew up and became a warrior. I forgot how to dream. But you—" She touched Tae-sung's face gently. "You reminded me. You showed me that compassion isn't weakness. That mercy can be brave. So what do? We change the world. Together." They met with the defector. Her name was Jiwon. She had data cores full of evidence, communications, financial records, proof that the war was being prolonged artificially, that people on both sides were profiting from the death. "We need to broadcast this everywhere," Jiwon said. "Every channel, every network. Both empires will try to stop us. We'll need time." "How much time?" Hari asked. 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes to upload and transmit. After that, it's out there. Can't be stopped. 10 minutes. An eternity when people were trying to kill you. They prepared carefully. Hari reached out to her loyal contacts. Tae-sung called in favors from people he had treated. Ji-won set up the transmission equipment. On the day they chose, Novara Station's main communications array would be theirs. Briefly. But someone talked. Word reached the wrong people. On the day of the broadcast, kill teams arrived. Human special forces from one dock, Veltron assassins from another. Both sides wanted to stop the truth from coming out. The station erupted in violence. Hari gathered her crew. "Hold them off. 10 minutes, that's all we need." Tae-sung had never wanted to be a soldier, but as enemy forces closed in, he picked up a weapon. Sometimes peace required fighting. Sometimes healing meant protecting. He stood beside Hari and fired at people who wanted to silence the truth. The crew fought brilliantly. Every corridor was a battle. Every second was precious. Siwon was hidden in a safe room with Jiwon, protected by 2 guards. 5 minutes in, half the crew was wounded. Tae-sung split his time between fighting and treating injuries. His hands shook, but he kept going. 8 minutes. Hari took a hit. Not fatal, but bad. Tae-sung dragged her behind cover, applied pressure to the wound. She looked at him with pain and pride in her eyes. "Almost there," she gasped. 9 minutes. The transmission percentage climbed. 80%. 90. The enemy forces were breaking through, getting closer. "Come on," Tae-sung whispered. "Come on!" 95%. The doors exploded. Enemy soldiers poured in. Ha-Ri raised her weapon with her good arm. Fired. Beside her, Tae-sung did the same. 99%. 100%. "It's done!" Ji-won shouted. "The transmission is complete!" Across the galaxy, on every screen, every device, every communication system, the truth flooded out. Names, faces, evidence, proof of the conspiracy, proof that the war was being prolonged for profit. The fighting stopped, slowly, carefully. Both sides received new orders. Stand down. Return to base. The evidence was out. The conspiracy was exposed. Everything had changed. Tae-sung slumped against the wall, Ha-Ri beside him, both wounded, both exhausted, but alive. "We did it," he said. "We did," Ha-Ri agreed. Then she kissed him, in front of everyone, human and Veltron alike, a kiss that said more than words ever could. The weeks that followed were chaotic. Governments fell. Officials were arrested. The weapons corporation collapsed. Protests erupted on 1,000 worlds demanding peace. An armistice was declared. Not peace yet, but silence. No more shooting. No more dying. The first step toward something better. Tae-sung and Ha-Ri stayed on Novara Station. She couldn't return to Veltron space. He couldn't return to human space. But here, in this place between worlds, they could build something new. Tae-sung opened a medical clinic. He treated everyone, human, Veltron, anyone who needed help. His reputation grew. People came from across the sector seeking his care. Ha-Ri worked with other former military leaders, building frameworks for lasting peace, teaching both sides to talk instead of shoot. It was slow work, frustrating work, but important work. Siwon thrived. She attended school with children from a dozen species. She was happy, safe. She still called Tae-sung Sajin, but now she called him something else too, father. 1 year after the broadcast, on the anniversary of the day Tae-sung saved her life, Siwon asked a question. "Mother," she said in a mix of Veltron and human language, "is the debt repaid now? Is Sajin free to leave?" Ha-Ri looked at Tae-sung. He looked back at her. They both smiled. A real smile, full of warmth and love and hope. "The debt is paid," Ha-Ri told her daughter, "but the choice to stay is his." Tae-sung knelt beside Siwon. "I'm not here because of a debt anymore. I'm here because this is my home. You're my family. All of you." Siwon hugged him tightly. Ha-Ri joined the embrace. Outside their window, Novara Station glowed with life, a place where enemies became neighbors, where war became memory, where love grew in the spaces between hate. The galaxy was changing, slowly, one person at a time, one choice at a time, one act of compassion at a time. And it had all started with one simple decision: to save a life, any life. Because every life mattered, because humanity's greatest strength wasn't weapons or technology, it was the refusal to see enemies where there could be family instead. Tae-sung had walked into war. He had walked among enemies, but in the end he had walked into love, into peace, into a future worth fighting for. And he would never walk away from that, not for anything.